Welcome back. It's Dr. Jennifer Boney, better known as DocJenFit, Doctor of Physical Therapy, owner and founder of Gen Health, your one-stop for all aches and pains that you might be experiencing in your body. Now, I want to take you through a little movement prep that I have been doing myself, as this is my second pregnancy and the first time I have had to deal with a breech presentation. Baby just likes to pop his head up right here. So I'm going to show you some of the movements I've learned either through spinning babies, which is a huge resource and something I would highly recommend just learning, because it's not just about breech presentation either. It's just about, everything within the body of how to help prepare and what to focus on. So I'd highly recommend them as a resource, but I'm going to talk through some other things that have helped to just continue to create space. And then at the end, I'll talk through some practitioners that I recommend seeing as well. Now, when it comes to a breech presentation, sometimes getting the baby up and lifted is a good way to kind of help them reset. So there's two inversion movements that I'm going to just show you and talk through how you can do them, especially safely. Now, this first one is an inversion off of the couch. Okay. If you are not used to going upside down or supporting your body weight upside down, I'd highly recommend using a partner for support. And we show how to use a partner for support in one of our other videos where I did it with my husband, Dr. Dom. Where he helped me in going into the inversion and coming out of it. So you can refer back to that video where we did our 3 birth prep exercises. Okay. So this one, I'm going to start with my knees on a couch. Okay. And then I just come down to the ground, going onto my elbows, and you want to lean over. And so you slightly tuck into the pelvis, and I do some really deep, slow breaths, trying to relax in my belly and my hips to relax tension around my round ligaments. That's the goal here. Those uterine ligaments, I really want to start to relax tension from. So I'm just breathing, and I do 3 big, slow breaths. And then you can, again, have some partner support to feel like you can come back up. Do that about 3 times. And then I go, and this is a good one to kind of start with prior to going into the other inversion. So this inversion setup is what I learned from spinning babies again. So I have an ironing board here, and I want to make sure that it's into like a surface that it's not going to move when I lay on it. So I have these cushion pillows from Brentwood Home, and I can have the link down at the bottom as well. And then I have another pillow here kind of for neck and head support. So you just want to make sure that you're sticking it into something that's not going to move, but you can also relax your head on. So you kind of have to get creative with what you have around your house in order to do this. Sometimes getting on the ironing board can feel a little daunting. So again, you can use some support and help from a partner. It's kind of easier to start on the ground, go from like a bridge position. So I'll show you that. And this one, they really recommend. So I'm going to have my hand for support, lift in my pelvis, and do a bridge to shimmy my way onto it. And then I can readjust. Now my couch that I typically do it on is a little bit higher. So this is like, I'm not getting as much of that inversion and that tilt as I do when I'm on my regular couch. You can have your legs kind of hang off. And the goal here is to spend about 10 to 20 minutes. At first, this can feel really uncomfortable, but we're kind of helping to create space for baby, shifting them into a new position. So the goal here is to relax. So maybe you're listening to a meditation, you're relaxing your body, you're trying to just release tension. Again, you're going to hear a little bit more about the specifics and why it's done on spinning babies. So I'd highly recommend taking that. Then to come off, you kind of do the same thing where I'll shimmy off to the side, relax, roll to my side, and then come up. So hopefully it's not hard. You just don't want to like start at the top and roll backwards. Probably not ideal. Now, the last movements are all going to be really important to help relax tension around the belly and the upper rib cage and into the low belly as much as possible. Because again, creating space for baby to potentially flip is what we're really trying to do. And so I feel like oftentimes we forget about how much tension we can build up at the top. So really focusing on that can be really, really supportive for the body. So, especially after I just did like that, inversion for a while, sometimes just going into cat-cow, like getting that pelvis to move a little bit, relaxing tension. So trying to stretch that belly, stretch up, pull those shoulder blades back, and then exhale, wiggle it out all the way down to that pelvis. So again, we're just trying to create space, relax tension, reduce tension so that baby can potentially at least have space to move. Or even if you go into like the ECV, you know that you at least prepared your body as much as possible by relaxing tension to help ease in that if that is necessary for baby. Okay. Just relaxing. So I usually tend to do about 5 to 10 of those, and I make sure I do it every day, sometimes multiple times a day. The other one that I think is so highly neglected is a diaphragm release. So this can be done laying in your bed. This can be done on the floor. This can be done after a workout. There's so many times, or just if you want to lay more at like an elevated surface, you can have your partner do it. You can lay on your side and do it. But essentially, you're going to take your fingers and you're going to try to find tension underneath that rib cage. That diaphragm already gets really flattened, so it's harder to take deep breaths as we're pregnant. So trying to help with that and creating some tension release underneath that rib cage. And when you find that area, take a breath into those fingers and relax it. And you don't need to spend a ton of time. So it's like 10 breaths, really trying to find and feel. And when I first started this, my husband was helping me, and he could barely get his fingers underneath my rib cage. And by the time we just started doing it a few more times, now I can really easily kind of sneak my fingers under there. So it gets better over time. So give it time, but it's a great one to do. After that, going into an open book. Now, I should have kept my pillows over here, but having your legs supported on something so you're not so much twisting from the lower back, but we're more so focusing on twisting from the upper back is really supportive. So have your legs on like a stack of pillows or a foam roller. I'm just going to put my leg on the ground, but you take a breath in from the back of that rib cage. This is where we're mobilizing and moving. And then breath out. Open and twist. And you can have your arm completely straight. I have a couch in my way, or you can have a bend in the arm, but it's more about we're trying to twist and relax tension in that upper back. So we're not trying to move from the lower back as much. So again, you can have your leg kind of supported here. So it's more focused on the upper back. But we rotate through our upper back as we walk, as we move, or we want to. And so relaxing tension from that abdomen up into that rib cage and upper back is a really great way to start to release and just, again, relaxing tension, creating space, giving the baby the opportunity to go into their ideal position on their own. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is cupping. So especially talking about relaxing tension along the lower part of the abdomen and creating space, this can be a great tool to help to release and relax some of that tension. So what I use is argan oil, and it's just 100%. I get this off Amazon, so I'll have it linked up below. And then you can also find these little cups in all different sizes on Amazon, which I'll also have linked up below. I do this side lying. So I lay on my side. I get really comfy. I get supported with a lot of pillows. I put a little bit of oil just on the bottom of my belly and hip area. And I do a little cupping. So where you're putting the cup, you give it a little bit of squeeze for some tension. Doesn't have to be a lot. And you just glide it along the area. Okay. Going really slow. It's not about like trying to relax, or release anything. We're just relaxing tension along the area so that you can feel like it's not gripping so much. You have a little bit more space. So this is one that I've loved to do, especially my first baby was cesarean. So making sure that I'm relaxing tension along that scar it has felt just really beneficial and really good. Some other practitioners that you can see throughout pregnancy can be a Webster certified chiropractor, a pelvic floor physical therapist, just to make sure you're not having a lot of tension inside the pelvic floor region, and a acupuncturist. So all different techniques can help to create space. It's all about creating space in the body. And ultimately trusting, trying not to stress about it, trying not to obsess about it. Some of the best stories that I've heard are people and women who have just said, you know what, I'm going to leave it up to baby, whatever needs to happen. And they end up flipping on their own. So without doing any of these techniques. So know that it's really about trusting your body, trusting your baby, relaxing tension and reducing stress is going to be the key here. Don't forget, if you love what you're learning, I have so much more in stock for you. So hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos I've done in the past, and leave any comments of any suggestions that you have for videos in the future. And I can't wait to help you feel incredible and amazing within your body.